everybody, this is Mumbles, and with me is my husband.
Hello, I'm Nick.
And what do you do?
I am from the Playdate unofficial website, as you may have heard me mention once or twice.
It's the spooky season. He loves my spooky season. And so I thought it would be fun to invite Nick onto my channel and tell us a little bit about some Playdate games that have a little horror in them.
Just, it's like the Haunted Mansion. There's like really spooky stuff, and there's also like fun spooky.
So here we go. We're going to talk about some Playdate games that are a little scary in case you want to play them for the spooky season or whenever, if you're like me. What is the first game you want to talk about?
We're going to talk about Ledbetter's ART-O-WEEN.
ART-O-WEEN.
It's Halloween, but he does the art games, which are art museums.
We love the art games.
I love all of the art games. He takes pictures with the Game Boy camera or the Playdate camera, and they put him in a little art museum. And this one has a little spooky thing where you have to keep an eye on the little Halloween museum overnight.
Oh no.
On Halloween night.
Spooky.
Yeah, and then things happen. And you can fast forward to the morning if you want to, just skip to the art show, but
too scary.
You miss all the fun too.
That's nice.
You're a little like night security guard.
It's nice to always have a weenie mode.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
For Halloweeny.
There should always be a weenie mode.
Yeah.
For everything.
But you get to like look at this cool art that all the other Playdate people make too. They've been sending it in. If you've seen any of the Art and More, which was one of my top games of the year, or they have ART-O-WEEN, they have like monthly art shows, and these are all made in pulp, and he's really pushing the limits of what pulp can do.
What kind of spooky stuff happens in this game?
You find mummies and werewolves and...
Do you look at a painting and the eyes move?
No, the paintings don't move. They're actual art.
Oh, that's nice.
Erie's here, and she's excited about art.
She's doing little bites.
Little vampire girl.
She's like, you like spooky stuff? I'm going to bite you.
Oh, just like a vampire.
That sounds like a great little game to have fun with, and I love that it has different ways that you can play it, and it just sounds like a real treat.
And there's so much little art to see on their little 1-bit Playdate art that you just don't get in the other art games. Any of the art games I love.
Any of the art games you love.
And they all have a little mini game arcade at the museum that you can select stuff, and you find pieces of one artwork and then it puts it on together and then it makes a big artwork. It's really neat.
I love it.
I like art. I love Playdate.
What's next?
Next up, we're going to do Frizzle, like Miss Frizzle.
Okay.
It is a Tamagotchi-like.
Oh.
It seems like a normal Tamagotchi type game. You feed him, you play with him, you give him attention, and then you find out that maybe someone else was also feeding him before you.
Oh no.
And he starts talking to you.
Ooh.
And it seems fine because he seems nice. I guess it seems nice.
Wow.
But then the person who gave you this little Frizzle to test is like, you shouldn't talk to it. And then you find a bloody handprint, and you find an ID badge for a tester that was there before you, and it all looks really nice, and then it's not.
Ooh, I'm getting chills.
The whole game is only like a 1 to 2 hour, really compact experience.
Love those.
So you don't have to play Tamagotchi every day for the rest of your life.
Smart.
And it's only $1.
Wow.
So it's neat.
Can you just get it off the shop, or do you have to get it off itch?
Either. You can get it on catalog or itch.
Wonderful.
$1.
Are all of these on catalog?
All of these are on catalog, and I think most of them, if not all of them, are also on itch. The difference between buying on catalog versus buying on itch, the developer gets a little bigger cut. On catalog, it's easier to get. It has auto updates, it has leaderboards, and a little bit goes to Panic to support the Playdate.
Yes.
So when you see people get their like stats, they're like, I sold 300 copies on catalog, I sold 12 on itch. So, and with itch's search, it's kind of wacky right now.
Pretty wacky.
But the Playdate tag has over 1,000 games on it now.
Yes.
So get it wherever you want. It's all good. That's the joy of the Playdate.
Next game.
Next game, Mars After Midnight.
Oh my god.
Why do you hate Lucas Pope, creator of Obra Dinn and Papers, Please?
I don't. I have beef with him, though.
What happened?
I have beef with him because Papers, Please reminded me too much of a job that I had when it came out, and so I could not play it, and everyone else was going crazy for Papers, Please, and I played it, and I was like, this is just my job.
Well, not everyone gets to experience the joys of your regular job, but now they can.
I don't have that job anymore, though.
So maybe it's time for Mars After Midnight.
The reason why I was
Warrior.
audibly rolling my eyes is because Nick loves this game so much. There isn't a month that goes by that you don't talk about this game.
I haven't even beaten it because I don't want to. Aww. It's pretty big. It's one of those games that I'll just go back and do one little round. Okay, anyway. After midnight on Mars, the little shipping facility turns into a community center.
Yeah.
And from 1 to 5 a.m., it does a community thing for a certain type of alien, whether it's sad cyclops or aliens that can't stop farting or aliens that have too many eyes or aliens that talk kind of different.
Okay.
You open the little flap to see out of the door because it's 1 a.m. and it's scary.
Sure.
And you do that by turning the little crank to open the little flap. And then if it's someone that is allowed to come in, you let them in. If it's not, then you close the flap and you wait for another person to come by.
Okay.
And you can get new little items to unlock different levels, and you can get different snacks. Oh, yeah, after they come in, they take some food from the snack table, and then they leave it in a mess half the time. So you get to clean up the snack table.
Cute.
And for some reason, it's really nice. You have to put it right back where it goes.
No, it's an incredible game.
And then,
I was just giving you a hard time because you love this game so much. And honestly, if you're listening to this and you don't really want to do a spooky game, you're just kind of curious about Playdate, you should really play this game. It's not actually that scary, right?
No, but it's funky.
Spooky and funky.
All the aliens are very weird. They all have their own way of talking. The art design is just spot on.
Yeah.
And at the end, when you fill up the little room, everyone goes and they do their meeting, which you're not invited to. You're just the doorman.
Right.
It's private. So they go and talk about it, and then they leave some tips for you. And then you can use that to buy more snacks and get different meetings. And then you and your roommate, lover,
Aww.
robot, go home together, and you both have little naps and you go to dream.
How does the crank play into this game?
It does the door flap opening, which is it's just very tactile. And then you use it when you're cleaning up the snack table. You pick everything up and then you crank it, and it brings out this little broom that cleans off the crumbs. And then you crank it back in, and then you put all the snacks down in the right place.
It's a wonderful game. I'm glad that you added it.
Only on Playdate.
Yeah.
Because Lucas Pope he's does what he wants. He's like, I want to make a Playdate game now. I made $23 million from Obra Dinn. I can make a Playdate game. I looked that fact up today, which was, wow, good for him.
Good for him. We're happy for him.
Yeah, and thanks for coming to Playdate. This game was so hyped.
Yeah.
Of all the catalog games, it's probably sold more than any of them.
This is probably the one most people have heard of, but it's worth talking about.
Yes, and if you haven't seen it or played it, you can. And you can play it online, too, on the computer.
That's
on
great.
the little Playdate simulator. Next game, Pulpergeist.
Is it made in pulp?
It's made in pulp. And you meet little poltergeists.
If you don't know, pulp is a really easy and not easy, but a very simple game development tool that pretty much anyone can learn how to use. It's very cool.
It's browser based. It's based off Bitsy.
Yep.
If you've played any of Mumble's Bitsy games.
I made some Bitsy games, yeah.
You could. It's all about getting as many people to get their idea down into a real game as quickly and easily as possible.
It's basically to prove to yourself that you can make a game.
Yeah, and if you put time into it, you make things like Resonant Tale or ART-O-WEEN or Pulpergeist.
Okay, what's it about?
Okay, so it starts out when you're driving in your car. It's very noir. You're a little detective going out to this spooky house. You're like, I don't know why I'm supposed to go out to the spooky house. I was just summoned.
Okay.
And then you get there and everything's a little weird. You got to find the key. And then you can't get in the front door, so you go around to the garden shed and you talk to the little gardener man. Then you get inside and you're like, oh, there's ghosts here, and they're looking for their child. We got to find the child. Is the child a ghost, or is everyone in this family ghost?
Fun.
Maybe. But one of the things that scary things do really well is build up the tension.
Yes.
And when you're in a pulp video game, a way to build up tension is to like put little roadblocks in your way.
Right.
So like, I can't get in through the door, I have to find the key. And you keep being able to see like the next step you should be going to, but you can't quite get there. And then when like a ghost just appears, and then you have to like help each ghost, you know, complete their earthly mission so they can go off. And then it has a new, not new, but it added an epilogue afterwards. That's like a whole nother game where you're like actually confronting the big bad spirit. It seemed like it was just going to be a little like a little end, but no, it's like basically a second Pulpergeist right there. Oh,
wonderful.
And it's different.
Oh, great.
The first one is all very atmospheric and slow suspense, and the second half is like straight up like you're fighting monsters and ghosts, like
cool
in pulp.
Yeah.
So they find a way to really make it have some good tension. There's like puzzles that you solve, like little pipe puzzles to figure out to get to different parts of the house, and helping each little ghost figure out what they need. It's nice too. So even though it's like, and it's got some like cutscenes in it, which really well done in pulp. I really
that's impressive.
Approve. And the last one we're doing, I was on the Discord, which Playdate Squad Discord. Shout out. Hello. I was trying to look for some little fun spooky games, and the developer of this one, Under the Tree, was like, this one is all about little spooky fun stuff.
Ooh.
And this game is humongous. It was like a 20 or 30 hour game, which I've been secretly chipping away at for weeks, it feels like. And I beat it.
Oh, wonderful.
And it is basically wizardry. You ever play Wizardry, the first-person dungeon crawler, first released on the Apple II? You don't have to have played it. Have you heard of Wizardry?
I understand the concept of such a game.
Yeah, it's a first-person dungeon crawler where you go down, you die immediately.
You're right.
And then each time you get a little farther, and you explore a little more of the dungeon.
Sure.
And this is like if they added some quality of life stuff to it and brought it into like the modern day and made it simple enough to play on the Playdate.
Wonderful. There
is mana, there's equipment, there's spells, there's lock picking.
Yeah.
It's like you lock pick with the crank.
Yeah.
You like try to find the appropriate spot before you unlock it, like a Skyrim almost.
Right.
And it's just, there's so much. There's a lot of games that you could play 30 hours on Playdate, but like score chasers usually.
Yeah.
This one, the whole game, every floor of the dungeon is very meticulously designed. Mm-hmm. And you just keep going down deeper into the dungeon. You find different things. So you're starting with like bats and rats, but then you get down to werewolves and vampires and like, and then it gets so hard though. And you discover little things about the game and how to play it that aren't spelled out for you.
Wonderful.
And you like intuit them after playing.
It's a gamer's game.
As it was described, it's a game game.
It's a gamer's game.
Yes.
Wow.
And I've never played the Wizardry games because they seemed...
They're gamer games.
Scary.
Yeah.
And since I was a console gamer...
Right.
The only option I had was like the NES version. And that sounds like... That's not going to be something that you can just like dabble in, but it's got all the little townspeople are like anthropomorphic fox people or like a spider, and then you just go down into the dungeon and you keep getting a little farther, and it's just fighting bats and rats, and it's such a good like nighttime game as long as you have a light because it's the Playdate. Mm-hmm. But
I didn't say
but you can do it like all winter long. Just be like, hoo-hoo, I'm in my little dungeon.
Yay.
And then if you finally get to the end, then you can like do it harder. You can do it again. It's like, it just keeps going. But there is a set endpoint, which is good because I have 100,000 other Playdate games I need to also play for my website.
Okay.
Playdateunofficial.com.
Does this developer understand that he made a game that's so good that it's blocking up the work that you're trying to do for other Playdate games?
I haven't written about anything all week long because I've been playing Under the Tree.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
It's like I was playing it like compulsively. Like instead of doom scrolling, I pull out the Playdate. I'm like, I can get a little farther this time.
Oh, yay. What a wonderful thing.
And then like, it's one of those games that I start using potions. I don't use potions in games.
You don't use potions. I can vouch
I have
for that.
every elixir at the end of the game, and then I'm like, oops, it's over.
He doesn't do that.
But I started because it has things where like, if you die in the dungeon, you don't lose anything.
Oh.
It just brings you back up to the top.
Right.
But if you use potions, you can just keep
Get
going
a little
longer.
farther, sure.
And each time you go down, all the monsters you've killed have already been, they like stay dead.
Oh, okay.
So you can keep getting farther easier. As long as you're willing to like put the time in, you can beat this game. The only downside of this game is it is $12, which is one of the most expensive Playdate games.
Deluxe.
But for the 30 hours I spent on it, that sounds great.
I think that's cheaper than horse armor, so, you know.
Yeah, it's cheaper than the new Wizardry they just remade. And you can play it on your little Playdate anywhere as long as you have a light source.
What a wonderful game.
And
it's great.
These are just, like, you know, fun little games to play if you're feeling in the spooky season. Have a little tingle.
Okay, so are we not going to bring up our favorite ghost game?
Life's Too Short.
What up, Pixel Ghost?
Pixel Ghost. I
give him a shout out every video now. That's my thing.
Listen, all the Life's Too Short are amazing. They're all these compact, delightful little stories. And I wrote about every single Pixel Ghost game in a row.
Well, those are all really great picks, and I hope that the people watching found some games that they'd be interested in. And thank you for bringing your expertise on spooky games on the Playdate. I'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.